I'm Dana Han-Klein here with Greta Gerwig for Ladybird.
What do you admire most about the character of Ladybird?
Well, I wasn't like Ladybird as a person when I was in high school. I never made anybody call me by a different name. I was much more of like a people pleaser and a rule follower. And I think perhaps in a way writing Ladybird was a sort of an unconscious unearthing of impulses I didn't know that I had, like my id or something. And what I admire most about her is her incredible confidence, which seems in a way revolutionary, because you can't, for a teenage girl to fundamentally think she's pretty awesome is a thing that you don't get to see often with characters, and that she's so complex and she's flawed, and I by no means is she perfect, but this sense of wanting what she wants, of standing inside of her own desires, whether it be crushes or wanting to get to New York or whatever it is that she wants. I think we're so taught that our desires are things that we should squash, and she doesn't. And I think even the way she is with boys, that she picks them. She doesn't wait for someone to like her or think she's cute. She sort of says, "That's my guy," and then she goes after it, and she tries to make it happen. And I don't know. It wasn't like I set out to do something that I had never seen before exactly, but as soon as I working with the footage and saw her, I was like, I don't know that I've ever seen a teenage girl quite like this.
What was either the most logistically or emotionally challenging scene to film?
Well, the logistically challenging thing was actually, how are we going to make a musical in the middle of this movie? Which one of my best friends from growing up is actually a drama teacher in Sacramento at a high school. And so I had him, we shot some of the interiors in LA, come down to LA during pre-production, and he and I had the cast and we made a musical in about 6 hours and taught them the choreography and everything, and then we showed the producers and we said, this is what it would be. And but it was a lot to bite off, and I think it's one of those things that, being a first-time film director, there are disadvantages, but there are also things that you'll probably never be ignorant enough to do again. And I think a little bit I was like, well, we're going to make an entire musical and film that and then just put it in the middle of this movie. So that was logistically challenging. And then emotionally challenging, I don't really remember a day that we weren't getting it. The actors were so emotionally available. They were just present. So I feel like, in a way, I always got variations on a lot of different scenes and kind of writing how much I wanted it to be explosive or sorrowful or whatever the moment was, but they were just on point.
Did you have supportive parents?
Yes, I do. I do. My parents, actually, they saw them. It's been my parents, my brother and his wife, and my best friend saw the movie before I played Telluride in Sacramento. I showed it to them, and they loved it. They called me crying, and they were so excited. My parents came with me to Telluride, so they were there. And then my sister saw it last night with her husband in Mill Valley. She hadn't seen it before, and she was like, whoa. But it's what's funny about, of course, it's not literally autobiographical, but there's details from life that you sort of reappropriate into your fiction. So she knew, obviously, that it wasn't how it happened, but she also was, recognized these tiny little things that only she would know, and saw even props and stuff. She had a sense of that's that thing, and that was actually very gratifying. But yeah, my parents are hugely supportive. I think they were very nervous when I wanted to be a actor, a writer, director, to be an artist, basically, because I think probably as a parent, you're just worried that your kid's signing up for a lifetime of disappointment, and you just worry about them. But they've always encouraged me, and they really are quite proud.
Can you think of a particularly unselfish act that they've done for you?
oh God, my whole life. I mean, so many things. Like my mom and dad are, everything from like my dad going when we went to Disneyland, and all I wanted to do was ride on It's a Small World After All, like the kids.
Yeah.
I think he went on it with me like 12 times in a row. Like, I don't know. Little things like that, and then huge things like, they made sure that I had like the best education that they could possibly figure out. That I was able to travel when I was young, which, like, my mom was so adamant about. My dad was working in different places, and she'd pull me out of school, and I got to see a lot of the world, and I felt like they gave me what all parents you hope can give someone, which is the roots and wings, and they did that. But the list is endless. If I had any interest, any sign of an interest, my mother would. Like, if I said, oh, I might be interested in Hawaiian dance, she would find a class, she would go to the library, she would get all the videos of a Hawaiian dance, she would get books, we would suddenly we would be taking Hawaiian cultural studies. She found a Polynesian dance group that I could do separately. Like, she was so able to take some interest I had and then find all the ways that it was possible to do it in Sacramento. And I have to say I was like pretty good at Hawaiian dance for a while. It's not just hula. There's a bunch of other stuff that goes into it. And Polynesian dance is like amazing.
It's very complicated.
Very complicated. Everything's in the hips. I could never really do the full like hip hop when they can.
Yeah, the postulated.
Yeah, and it's like it's amazing when you can actually. You're like, how do you do that? Anyway, but.
It made me, like, I texted my parents after and said, thanks for all your support over the years.
Yeah. We used to joke that, like, we should put up a title card at the end of the movie that says, call your mother.
It's literally what I did.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta call your mom. Because it's like,
but...
thank you,
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Did you ever wear a puka shell necklace?
No, I never did. But I knew people who did, yeah.
What was your favorite slow song in high school?
Angel of Mine by Monica. Love that song. Such a good song.
What was your like endless loop sad song?
Endless loop sad song. The Counting Crows, like the long December when there's reason to believe maybe this year will be better than the last. I have like a terrible thing where my brain retains lyrics for my whole life. I can sing lyrics to any song I've heard. It's like it occupies the space of my brain, which I think should have another language, and all it has is pop songs from the 90s. That's it. It's really sad.
I'd say I remember movie quotes at the expense of like math. So.
I know. It's just
wired.
like, what? Why do I know this? But my editor, because we tried different songs and different scenes, and he's like, do you know the words to every song? And I was like, yes, it's a problem. Anyway.
What genre would you like to direct next?
Well, I don't know next.
Or someday.
But someday. I'd love to do something that has kind of a big canvas. I would like to do something that's kind of mythical and big. I don't know. I would like to do that. I would love to make a dance film, like almost a silent dance film, a little bit like the Red Shoes type thing. But I don't know. Those are kind of different ideas. I still haven't figured out how to write just a straight ahead romance, but David Lean's Brief Encounter is one of my favorite movies, so working my way towards that. I don't know. It's hard to. It's like you kind of. I think the truth is you sort of always have like a few different ideas percolating, and then one pops up more continuously, and that's the one you go with. But I think the truth is, it's almost like, oh God, I was just going to use the most horrible analogy.
No judgment. It's a safe space.
No, it's not. This will go on the internet. I do think in a way you do have like I think you kind of come into the world with maybe some set number of things, whether it's songs or books that you can make, and they'll keep bothering you until you make them, essentially. I didn't say the analogy I was thinking of.
I can guess what it is.
It's a horrible one. Please, like, never.
Who was your favorite childhood fictional hero or heroine?
Oh, hero or heroine? I mean, Anne of Green Gables. I loved Anne with an E. Yeah, I was always crazy about her. And also then, like, it kind of created something in my head of, like, wanting to live on Prince Edward Island, which, like, I've never been to Prince Edward Island, but still, like, when I think about where would you like to go, it's Prince Edward Island. So maybe I'll get there one day.
Yeah, visit.
I think it's probably very cold in the winter, but
it's not bad.
No.
How do you define success?
Well, for me, I think success is being able to continue to make things that I care about and I want to make, and that I think that feel essential, and then being able to draw people to me who feel similarly about the project. I mean, for me, one of my favorite parts of filmmaking is that it's a communal art. So the fact that you can have this sense of purpose around it and mission, and then that everybody else feels the same way is a pretty beautiful thing. So that feels successful to me. Yeah, someone said once to me, like, it's really stressful for the new generation of kids. Their parents always told them, "I just want you to be happy," which is actually a very stressful thing to tell a kid, because you think, well, but when will you know when you've gotten that? If you tell your kid, like, you got to be a doctor, at least you know whether or not you did it.
It's binary.
It's like you're either a doctor or you're not a doctor. Not that that's a better way, but yeah, I guess for me it is just this ability to keep making movies and to make these things with other people that feel essential somehow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congrats on the film.
Thank you.